Thanks for viewing this video today. I really appreciate it. The sun is out and today's message is going to be about mindset. So I'm just going to settle in, get relaxed, and we're just going to have a heart-to-heart talk about mindset and what an effect it can make on your life. So much of our lives are based on mindset. There are just too many things that we cannot control. There's too many X factors out there. God has given us a free will, and other people's free will a lot of the time have an impact on us. You always hear the argument from non-believers that if there is a God, then why do bad things happen? And the answer to that is free will. At any given moment, people can choose to do whatever they want to. I could choose to harm someone. That would be my free will. And that is why you see so many bad things happen. So sometimes we can't control what goes on in our environment, but we can control our mindset. Before you even wake up each day, you can decide how to look at each day. Before you even get out of bed, you can set the course of your whole day inside your mind to be negative. Or you can decide to have a grateful heart. We live in a great nation. Our nation is blessed. We are one nation under God, and it is in God that we trust. We are so privileged to live here. We have so many great things that are going for us. I don't care who you are, where you're at in life. God has made you exactly the way you are for a purpose in this world. Our mission field is right where we sit, the people around us. Start at home. We need to sow seeds of things that we want to reap a harvest of. You know, people use the word karma. And like I've said in the last video, karma is nothing more than the biblical principle of reaping what we sow. So the seeds that we sow around us can end up, that's the harvest we'll reap. So being positive and having a good mindset brings a lot of positive things in our life. And it's all because of God. There's a lot of self-help speakers that like to convince you that, you know, like I've heard Oprah say and Dr. Phil, and not that they're horrible people, but they don't take a biblical approach to things. They take a humanist approach. And we're so flawed as human beings. That's why, not to get down on college kids, I appreciate what you're doing. You can learn a lot about life in college. You can learn a lot about specific subjects in college, but I don't care what kind of ology degree you have. If you're a sociologist or a psychologist, you can't know the human heart like God knows it. So that's why we need to seek God for instruction, not human beings. You can learn a lot from human beings, and there's a lot of good teachers out there, but always double check with God, because God knows the human condition better than any of us. Anyways, that's getting off topic. I want to talk about positive thinking. I want to talk about mindset. I want to talk about you, because you are special. You were created in a certain way to fulfill a certain task on this planet. God made you in a perfect way. There's nothing about you that's flawed, other than sometimes our hearts and our sinful nature, but physically you were made in God's image. You were made for the Most High, God, the creator of the heavens and the earth. And out of all God's creation, soaring mountains, roaring rivers, beautiful flowers, every creature on the face of this earth, God hand chose you to be His favorite. We are God's most prideful possession. God loves us. He put us on this world for a specific purpose, and that's to serve others. Today in America, you have so many people that live for themselves, and a lot of it's not our fault. We're born into a society that is self-seeking. We seek to please ourselves. That's why you see so much greed in the world, because even the best people I know are self-driven. I'm self-driven at times. I catch myself being self-driven all the time. And that's something that we need to work on, because if you sow love in other people's lives, then they're going to be able to return that love back to you. Think of each day as having an energy bar. You have this much energy for each and every day, and you have to divide that amongst work, your kids, your spouse, your friends, your family, and all the other things in life. But let's change the outlook. Let's start making those bad things be good things. For example, say you're in traffic and you're stopped at a light. Everyone is irritated at that situation, including me. But let's put mindset into the equation. What's a positive way we can look at that? What a quiet time to be with God. What a great time for prayer. What a great time for reflection. Turn off the radio. Sit in silence. It's another thing missing in today's world is silence. It's not very often we have a chance to really get out in creation and just observe nature and the silence of it. I know I don't get to do it as much as I would like to, so when you're at a stoplight, what a perfect time to just enjoy the silence and reflect on God. We get so busy in life that we really don't appreciate those little subtle moments. And it's sad, because There are so many of them. For example, when you're using the bathroom, that's not always a time that we think that we can reflect on things, but it's a great spot to think and reflect on God and the people around us. It's a great spot to do your thinking. There's so many verses in the Bible about not limiting yourself. We are more than conquerors. You can find that in Romans chapter 8. I'm not going to go through it verse by verse, but I'll leave that to you. But check into Romans 8, for the Bible says we are more than conquerors through Christ who strengthens us. In Matthew it says that through God all things are possible. There is nothing that you cannot accomplish. Take a lesson from kids. When kids come into this world, they have a big vision. They run, they jump, they play, they take risks. But over time, we have so much negativity that feeds into us, we start realizing there are things we can't do. We aren't good enough. We don't look good. We can't jump that high. We can't reach that far, but that's not true. Don't buy into that. God created you in a very special way. He hand-designed you. Every single baby, right at conception, God starts to create. That's why babies are so important. Right from the moment that they're conceived, God already has a plan for that life. And I'm just encouraging you to find out what is God's plan for your life today. Today's a good day. Live positively. Live in love. Look at the bright side. I've heard stories of people that get cancer and they have amazing outlooks. I look up to these people because I'm not so sure I would have that outlook. I would hope that I would. I've heard stories of people that get cancer and instead of looking at it as a bad thing, they just think, I'm one step closer to going home. Because the minute we're born as a Christian, your next goal, your next objective is to see Jesus. One day we will die. We will see Jesus, and what a day that will be, to live eternally. And so it's amazing to me when people have disease that they can look at it that way, that they're just taking a shortcut. They're one step closer to home, and what a great way we can look at that. And I'm not saying that if you know someone that has a family member or friend that dies that we should right away jump on them all positively, because that would honestly be pretty annoying. What I am saying though is to, after giving them some grieving time, because we all do need grieving time, help them to see the bright side, that they're at home with the Lord. And that's where we all desire to be. And so when people leave early, it's just like taking a shortcut. So don't let the things in life get you down. If people have hurt you, if people have harmed you, just remember what Jesus did. Jesus was all-knowing. He knew that Judas would betray him. But if you notice in the Bible, Jesus calls Judas friend when he approaches with the Romans. Right before Jesus' loyal follower betrays him, he says, friend, do what you came to do. So let us today take a lesson from that. Let's make our enemies our friends. The people that hate us, that means we should pray for them more. What a great way to handle situations. When people hate you, love them. When people curse at you, love them. Pray for those who persecute you. Pray for those who hate you. God will honor that. God gives us what we can prove that we can be trusted with. Financially, if God has only trusted you with a little, then maybe you should be responsible with the little that you have, and God will give you more. Tithe, sow into the kingdom. You know, nothing we possess is ours. Everything is God's. The money that we have is God's. The house we live in is God's. The time we have is God's. This body that we have is God's. Let's make good use of the things God's given us. Let's impact our world. Let's start a love revolution. Let's decide each day when we wake up that we will choose love. And that's my message for today. I thank you for watching this video. I have some shout outs today. I want to give a shout out to single moms. That is so tough what you do. Single parents in general, single dads as well. So tough. Thank you for putting your kids first. Thank you for not giving into a self-centered attitude. Thank you for your selflessness. It's not easy what you do. I also want to do a shout out today to people with conservative mindsets that value morals. A baby is a life from conception on. And regardless of what you want to call it and what the situation is, murder is murder. And I know there's some situations where it seems like it would be better off to have the abortion, like in situations of rape, but look at history. For hundreds of thousands of years people have been raped, and people did not abort their babies. In today's society there's a thinking that certain circumstances allow us to be the judge of what lives get to live out their lives and what lives we end before they've begun. And I just want to speak to you from my heart of love. I sympathize with you. If you've had an abortion, I have compassion on you. I'm not saying that you're a bad person. I'm just speaking out, and I want to give a shout out to people that hold those values dear, that a baby is a life. Old people are lives too.